What is the church? Um, some reflection on what it means, what the word means, what the reality is of the church. Immediately we think about the Catholic Church because we're one of the biggest ones and we're famous. And we're famous now for our scandals in the Catholic Church and priests abusing boys and girls and nuns doing all kinds of crazy stuff and terrible scandals happening in church, which have turned people away from the church now. They don't want to even hear about it, I suppose. But I know that's happening in Ireland, and this is your friend Paul Lennon. Hope to be a little bit brief with you today. I'm speaking with you from Guatemala. We're having a heat wave here, just like you're having in Ireland. And as you can see, I have a little picture here. Where's the little picture here of my cottage in the background, which a Mexican friend of mine painted for me. Thank you very much. Uh, but what does the church mean? Because a lot of talk about the church this and the church that. And I always say I get a little bit tired, and probably I think I turn people off by saying, look, the church, when you say the church, you're probably referring to the institution, right? And you're probably referring to the Pope and the Vatican and all that kind of stuff, the hierarchy, not the church, because every baptized person in the Catholic Church is part of the church. I'm sorry to say, maybe people now are reneging to that, reneging. People are asking to be absolved or freed from their baptismal promises and from their sacrament of baptism. It can go to that extreme, shall we say, when people are really, really annoyed, really angry with this church. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Jesus because he's the one who spoke about this thing, and he did talk about a church. And let me tell you that it does appear in the New Testament. It does appear in the New Testament, the word church. The New Testament, as you know, is written in popular Greek. Uh, I believe it's koine. And the word ekklesia appears in that, where the Gospels are written in that language. So, and it means in Greek, it means assembly. So it doesn't mean the Pope and the bishops and all that, the priests. It means the assembly of the believers, of the followers. In this case, with the assembly of the followers of Jesus. And we're going to come full circle with that today. I hope very brief because Ireland is still a very beautiful country. The Irish people are still wonderful people, and I believe they're believers in a certain sense deep down. They have a very deep faith, which may not be right now, vibing with the institution, with the hierarchy, the bishops, and all that kind of stuff, or the Pope in Rome and all that. So, but there it is, and let me tell you that, yeah, it does appear that the word ecclesia does appear in the New Testament, which is written, as I say, in the popular Greek, and so it is. It does appear in the letters of Saint Paul, and it does appear in the Gospel of Matthew. So I think when the Reform, the Protestant Reformation happened. Uh, the Protestant theologians were really going to town a little bit on Matthew, and they probably had trouble with "Thou art Peter, and on this rock I will build my church." And there could be discussion about this, about whether it was originally, this is an original phrase in the Gospel of Saint Matthew, or was it added on later and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Matthew does talk about the ecclesia, and and not only in one place, but in several places, because in last Sunday's Gospel, which was Matthew, I believe 18:15 to 20, just in case you weren't at Mass. The last phrase of that whole passage is, "In truth, I tell you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." So apparently, these words apply to Jesus. He's referring to the leadership, referring to the apostles uh, of that time. So there you got it. But anyway, let's go a little bit, just to bear with me a moment. Our word, okay, so it's the church, probably an Anglo-Saxon word. Seamus Heaney could help me in this. God bless him. He was the man. So it's either a German word, an Anglo-Saxon word, Kirche or something. I don't know. You know better than I do. So and then Of course, in Gaelic, I think it's on Aglish, which probably coming from the Greek, the Greek too, probably Aglish, not ekklesia, Aglish, Untaglish. So we're not far away, huh? Uh, and um, and then it goes, but then I wanted to find out, like, what would Jesus have said in his own language, in his native language, which you sort of make. And I just had to consult that, and some Jewish scholars are telling me that Jesus wouldn't have said anything like, church. He wasn't speaking English, or he wasn't speaking Greek. He was speaking Aramaic, which was a version of Hebrew. And he would have said something like "lodoth." They're telling me a composition of two words, "lod" and "oth," and they're even telling me that Jesus might have been even a play on words or something like that. I mean, this is incredible. But what it means the same thing: a gathering, a gathering. Now, it just occurred to me right now, after as I was taping this, that recently we had those terrible tragedies in Ireland with the children, with the young people being killed in the road crashes, in the car crashes, and we had uh, two, two, two incidents of that, and then we had what happened then? What happened? The people then wanted to celebrate them, and they wanted to have a burial, or want to have a burial ceremony, which was very, very natural, very human. And see, and then they assembled. Now they went to the church, okay, and the priest was there. That's okay. But what I'm talking about now is they assembled. The town assembled and wanted to say goodbye to these beautiful people. So that was so. So in a sense, that was the church. Take it as it may. It's not. I don't want to offend anybody or rub your nose and everything, but that's why there was an assemble. There was an assembly of people. Jesus' name was present. They were buried, I believe, with a Catholic or Christian ceremony. Maybe not. I mean, you can forgive me, or maybe one of them was and the other was not. I'm not sure, but that was the whole idea. So you got the idea. That's when it was. So you didn't need to be, you didn't need to be saying the rose, or you didn't need to be down on your knees, or you didn't need to be going on confession or anything like that. In a sense, you didn't. It was the gathering. You gathered there, and that was, in a sense, was church. That was just my idea.